And you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know that I know.
There's love in the air. What is poppin', everybody?
What?
And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, my sidekick. What's poppin', Berk?
You know, it's Valentine's, Conrad. For one day, could I just be the guy? You know, could I be the kick instead of the sidekick?
No, you're the sidekick. What do you want, man?
I don't want to play second flute to...
No, you're not a fucking flute. You're a second fiddle, man.
Second fiddle's actually real.
Put the fiddles back up in the chat.
No, they're dead.
No? Oh, dead fiddles.
They're gone forever. You guys are welcome to throw that Sulfur Y heart emoji up there. We all appreciate it and love you. Yeah, we have a fun one today. We're all the losers. This is the Losers Lounge. All single except for Conrad, who's just in a... Landon.
What?
He's like
Landon?
stimming.
Why was it on me? You're the one speaking.
Because they were talking about losers, you
Stimming
know.
on his
Guapo's fucking...
Where's my computer? I'm just fucking with this thing.
Guapo's
It's like-
hot today.
Yeah, he
Well,
came in fiery.
I'm the guy that commits to the bit, and I just get torched every
Pupito.
pre-production.
Guapo is spicy today.
I gotta say,
Always taking one for the
I
team.
walked in and there was a whiff of poop when I walked into the office.
Well, that's a totally different conversation, but okay. Go ahead, roll with it.
I just walked in and it was poop smelling in
It
my
hit
nose.
you right in the face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, going on, you walked upstairs
Someone
and then...
shitted on the floor because I walked by, like I kept walking and it went away, so it's somewhere near the door.
I think it might be.
Shitted.
I think it might be the cat.
Cat.
Yeah, there's no cat, but we should get
We should get a cat.
we should get a cat so that we can,
You can
start
blame
blaming
me.
these problems on.
Everything that happens is just the cat.
Yeah, at some point, like it's gotta stop being us. I
Yeah.
mean, you guys are filthy
We
fucking
should
animals.
get a cat.
You mean yourself?
I don't know what you're
I
talking
keep
about.
shitting in every bathroom. in this
I will not take any more of this gaslighting with fucking Poopgate. All right. We have a great show for you guys today. We have a few things to discuss within the community. There was a response to the Fedor Holtz elimination or attempt thereof of mass data analysis, as well as a story that's breaking on PartyPoker where one of the players won $1 million spin, was able to get $300K off before they demanded more proof of residency. This story goes deep. We're going to read you guys the clips of that and, you know, hope to get a little feedback on what you think should happen here. And then finally, we have our own little Valentines, since none of us are going to be, well, that's actually not true. I think low-key, everyone in this room is doing something with someone tonight.
I'm having phone sex.
Yep, there you go.
I mean,
Congrats to bro.
I don't think I am. I keep scaring everyone away. Like, I used to just not really respond to people in these dating apps, and now I started, and now no one's answering me because I'm scaring them off.
Was the response you sent
You're
to the chat
scaring
today
the
real?
hose away.
That was me.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
me.
no, there was no response.
But that was real?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wrote that.
Yeah, and he just didn't answer?
Should I read it?
Yeah, please. No, please.
Okay, so
Let's clue everyone in.
Yeah, so there's this guy I matched with, and he said, so on my profile I say I like weird documentaries, and then he asked me, you know, what's one that you watched recently, and I said, you know, whatever, and he said, oh, what made it stand out to you? You know, he's all excited to chat, so I said, well,
So excited.
it was about a cult where the leader believed she was in communication with a galactic organization led by Robin Williams, LOL. She ended up dying, but they left her body and continued doing cult stuff around it until she mummified. And he just didn't answer.
Shocking.
Wait,
Can you believe that?
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, he didn't answer.
No, asking that if we believe that. because yes, actually, I do
And
believe
so then
that.
I just was like, I should respond with the thing of the Joker going, "You wouldn't get it."
You know what he actually did? He deleted fucking
Yeah, he
whatever
definitely
he was on. He deleted the app
He
off his phone.
screenshotted it and sent it to his group chat. Was like, "I'm getting off this app."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's good because like I'll just keep doing that. And
The
then,
sick filter.
Yeah, and then
What are we filtering for?
Just someone that's weird enough to
Insane
accept.
people?
well, yeah, because eventually, like, if someone's scared off by that, like, eventually they're gonna get sick of me.
Okay.
Because I'm
Here's-
gonna send them like disgusting shit, so they need to be able to handle like a little mummified body
as
content.
someone involved in your group chats, I feel like you're drawing slim.
You should hook him first.
I'm
all right?
sure that there's some sicko out there that would just be like right on par with your level of humor, but
Well, they don't have to be a sicko themselves, but they have to be
they have to be tolerant.
open-minded.
Okay, yeah, sure. My take from this is the only one who's gonna break through these barriers on a dating app is somebody who is so horny that he just glosses right over that message and just goes, "Don't care."
So you think it's not a good filter?
Still would.
Okay, well, I'm doing a little A/B testing.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not in any rush, so I'm just testing. But I think I should just come out. Also, another guy today said on his profile, he was like, together we could fight another couple. And I said, I'll fight someone with you.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's like, what's your strategy? And I said, well, I'm pretty small, so you could put one of those baby carriers on your back, and I'll get in it and do, kicks.
Right. Yes, I love that.
He didn't answer.
That guy's wound too tight, for sure.
But we'll see. I mean, that was today, so maybe he'll answer.
Interesting you went with the on the back, because that's a much better strategy than what I would have envisioned, which would have been like the hangover carrier case where he straps the baby to his chest.
Right. Well, that was my first thought, but then I was like, no, because then his front is
Right,
occupied.
yeah, and then
This
he can't
way,
do anything.
we're
He's less
like
efficient.
A unit
Right, yes.
with both sides covered.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think you thought that one through pretty
I
well.
thought so.
Yeah,
I'm
he's-
getting pretty good at responses.
You also just like have a weapon.
He sounds wound too tight.
That's a pretty good strategy too.
I don't know. I'm having a laugh. So I think that's all that
it's
matters.
brilliant, to be honest. I find
Having a laugh.
I find the messaging portion of online dating to be one of the most painstaking endeavors
Same.
a human can go
But
through.
you know why? Like, I felt like it's painstaking is because I don't feel like I can be myself. I try and be like all normal, and then it's boring as fuck for me. So now I'm just being
No,
really
you should
weird.
guys
Because that's
would,
fun for me.
Trust me, guys would appreciate that because your personality at least comes through and the conversation can roll. There's nothing worse than, I mean, there is no good opener. Period. There just
Yeah.
isn't, unless like you're sitting down and you're rehearsing one-liners that will like garner a laugh or something. Generally though, you're just like, hey, what's up? How's it going?
Right, and it's annoying. It feels
Yeah.
painstaking.
And the thing is then the girls will tend to like one word answer you, and it's like, okay, let's cut to the chase because this is gonna die immediately if we
Yeah.
keep one wording one another.
Right, like, oh, how are you? Good. How are you?
Right.
How was your day?
So
Good.
I almost always immediately go to let's grab a coffee, right? And
This nigga
I would
don't
say
even drink
I would
coffee.
say I hate coffee. Fuck coffee.
Yeah, he doesn't drink.
But I would say 80% of the time, whenever I say that, they say, let's get to know each other a little bit better first.
Oh, see, I was
It's
doing
like-
that, and then I ended up going on dates with the people I went on dates with.
On that
Yeah.
gas.
So now I'm doing a little pre-filtering.
Berkey
Okay.
wonders why he can't find the love of his life on there. He lies to them the second they start talking. You want to go grab a coffee?
Well, I've heard.
We can go grab
I've
a coffee.
heard-
I don't need to drink the coffee.
There's like a. I don't know if this is like a widespread thing, but I was just scrolling on TikTok and they're like, if he wants to take you to coffee, he's like not putting in effort. There's all these like.
Like don't
Effort?
go to Cheesecake Factory.
I've never met
don't
you.
go to
I
Denny's.
know.
I'm not putting in effort.
I know, because for me, I feel like coffee is good, but
It
then I'm like,
needs to
well,
be
what
safe.
am I dumb to be taking coffee?
No,
day?
you need to be able to escape. This is very important.
Ephra
think so.
had a very good question. He said, do you think people see Melissa's date on this dating app and then she says a couple things to them and then they're so convinced that she's catfishing them and then they disengage?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I could see that.
When you say something like that, I can see that a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well,
Although you're a little too creative to be a bot, but
yeah, I think so.
I think it's honestly some of the best back and forths I've had are girls that like just lean in right away.
Yeah, because I just don't really care as much anymore because it's just too. I'd rather just have a good time if I'm not going to like meet up with anyone anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to have fun and try and weird them out. And then the ones that stick.
The response of let's get to know each other better is so off-putting to me in the sense that if that's your request, then that means you got to at least meet me 25% of the way there,
questions.
or answer a question.
Yeah.
You know, like, of course, my follow up is going to be like, "Where are you from? What do you do?"
It's so annoying.
Small talk's the fucking
I hate
worst.
it.
Yeah, it's
That's
like,
why I go right into the mummified body.
well,
You just gotta jump straight in.
Hey, have you heard of bog bodies? And they're like, whoa, what?
I don't really know what I would do with that information either.
Well, so the role, the dynamic I'm looking for is that he's normal-ish and I'm weird, and then I say something gross, and then he goes ew, and then I feel pleasure from that reaction, and then that's our
This is
back and
not.
forth.
This is not how men
No.
want to date. Do not want to.
Okay, but there has to be somebody
Okay.
that's down for that.
All right, you know how the majority. You know how
Like,
the
hey.
majority of your interactions end with you getting the ick.
Yeah.
You're giving the ick.
No.
How could you
No,
say
it's
that?
a fun thing.
For a guy to say ew.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's so funny when I gross someone out and they like go,
Because you
"Oh."
had nothing but brothers and they treated you like a boy.
Yeah.
It's so apparent.
I think it's so fun.
You're gonna be like the girl who's like in the shitter go, hey honey, get in here. This one stinks.
Yeah, that's like historically accurate.
Historic.
I've already been that before.
God.
No, they like it low key.
No.
Oh God, no. Oh, get me
It's
out
like,
of here.
isn't it fun though when I send you guys something
No.
gross?
No, absolutely
for
not.
Me, for me, it's just there's nothing more joyful than sending someone something they've never even seen remotely as gross as that, and then just seeing them react.
You sent us a pussy toenail the other day, and all I wanted to do was block you
It
from
was
the group
only
chat.
like a small bubble.
Raise your hand.
Disgusting.
Raise your hand if you saw Drake's dick. Raise your
And,
hand.
okay, you guys.
Raise your hand if you planned on seeing Drake's dick that day.
You guys didn't even answer, and then I had to. I had to reply then to my own post the next day and go thoughts because no one responded.
We didn't have thoughts for you.
It's a goddamn anaconda, but that's beside the point.
That shit was flopping around like a.
If you ignore it, it goes away.
That's what we all
I was
try
like,
to
would
do.
you guys not see this? So I had to reply, bump.
You know,
Thoughts?
like, imagine if we were just firing off porn in the chat every day. Actually,
That's happened before.
yeah.
Remember,
no.
remember when you sent the ones of the guy going, "I'm riding a wave."
you went so far. I didn't even do that for like shits and giggles. It was just like this obscene thing that I couldn't believe existed.
was, like, you said,
and you
like-
turned it into a meme.
You sent like 5 different Pornhub links that night.
Wait, Berkey did this?
I don't remember
It was
why.
like a Japanese guy,
It
and
was tough.
there was
There
literally
was like 100 women laying on the floor, and he was just rolling over them.
and,
Oh my
and the
God.
captions are like, "I'm riding a wave."
It was funny.
I thought that was called a steamroller.
You know what? I don't remember what we were. Unfortunately, I don't remember what we were joking about, but somehow those links were associated to Landon. Oh, I do remember now. Fuck, and I can't say it. I 100% remember.
I don't remember.
It was.
painful.
It was
It's
when.
painful.
No, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
say.
you can't
we,
say
we
it.
can talk
You
about
can't
it off
say
air.
it. We'll talk about it off air.
It was funny.
I ignored this one and it went away.
It did go away. Basically.
Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I ignored it that much.
That's all right. Just remind me afterwards.
I don't think I want to.
We
Okay,
will.
that's
Don't
fair.
worry.
All right. Let's get into some things. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but I thought this was actually a pretty relevant thread, all things considered. You guys know what the Berenstein Bear effect is, or the Streisand effect, right?
No.
The Mandela effect.
Mandela effect is another name for it. Yeah.
No.
So it's basically that our memories reinvent the actual reality of what things were. So the Bernstein Bears, I believe, is actually spelled Stain. So Bernstein. It's not pronounced that
but
way,
in our
but it's.
memories, it's all.
But everybody
STEIN.
remembers it as Stein. Stin.
That's like the cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Same
it's-
with the Fruit of the Loom logo.
Ooh, what about this one?
So when you think about it, does it have the cornucopia, or is it just fruit?
I would have thought just fruit.
I would have thought
I
fruit
forget
as
which
well.
one it actually.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, we flushed this one out.
One of
Conrad can Google it.
look it
What about the Mandela effect? Like, why is it the Mandela effect? Or the
something to do with Nelson Mandela.
yeah,
maybe?
obviously. Oh, wasn't it something about him like being dead when he was really alive, or the opposite?
Maybe.
I think anyway. The whole point is that like we kind of augment our reality based off of what everybody's collective memory is. And now with AI kind of not rising to prominence, but developing more and more.
I found it.
Go on.
It was named by paranormal researcher Fiona Broom, who wrongly recalled that the late South African president Nelson Mandela had died in the 1980s after his imprisonment, when he in fact died in 2013.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I thought it had something to do with his death, but I wasn't positive.
And Fruit of the Loom does not have whatever the fuck.
The cornucopia?
Or whatever.
It doesn't have
It's just the fruit.
It's just
I
fruit.
remember
Fruit
it
of the
having
Loom.
a cornucopia.
I do not. I remember the grapes. I
Okay,
only
then you
remember
guys remember
There's
it
grapes,
right.
there's
apple,
apples.
green apple, right?
Yeah.
Nope. There's a red one.
Hold on.
Oh, really?
Yep.
See,
It's
there
It's
you
No,
go.
red
it's the
apple.
cornucopia.
It's red apple. There's like lettuce on the side. There's grapes,
What
and
the fuck
then
is
there's
lettuce doing there?
look at it.
It's not a fruit.
Is that like melons and tomatoes?
No,
I
it's
don't
just
know
like
what the
little
fuck it
background.
is.
Garnish.
And
yeah,
it's like a pomelo. It's like a kumquat.
You're a kumquat.
Pomelo?
Watch
Yeah.
your mouth.
They're like
This is
Floridian fruit or
PG-13.
something?
no. There's like grapes. There's like two kinds of grapes here. Get the image. I'm not the image guy.
But I
Get the
thought that
image.
it was that we jumped. Everyone goes, "Oh, Mandela effect. We jumped dimensions."
I don't know
What?
anything. Look, this is again. this is reserved for Hinge, I believe.
No. Like they say that. Oh, we entered into.
Oh my God, there is a cornucopia.
See,
Where?
but the cornucopia is fake.
What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. I never
That's
knew
how I
that.
remember it.
Okay, I never knew that there was a cornucopia.
What are you talking about? What corner?
Cornucopia.
Thanks.
Is that clarifying?
No.
Wait, where's the
Oh,
cornucopia?
the thing. Oh, I see it. The thing on the bottom, like the second image with the little I don't know, background. I guess.
Cornucopia.
Yeah. Right.
That looks like
That's
the thing
right.
that's like on the table at Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Perfect.
But
Okay.
but whenever I see like videos about the Mandela effect, it's like in this year we jumped dimensions to a
Oh.
parallel universe. It used to be Berenstein, and then this dimension it's Berenstain.
Right. Okay.
It is Berenstain, but
Well-
Steen sounds so much better. Like
Yes.
the Berenstein Bears.
You just
Yes.
all mispronounced.
Yeah, we
it.
all everything.
Berenstain Bears sounds dumb.
Well,
that's
you
why
you
we
can
call it
pronounce
the
it however you
Bernstein.
want. It's more about the spelling. But anyway, the whole point is we've reached this point now where AI is actually going to be augmenting our memories. So for anybody who watched the Super Bowl, there was the halftime performance with Usher where Alicia Keys came out. And if you were paying any attention, you'll notice that she missed her first note when she came in on was it?
Some people
There you go.
want it all.
Right.
Like that one?
Precisely.
Some.
Yeah. She was a little bit off key. Now, so this is a bootlegged copy of the actual
And in this one,
telecast.
it's not missed.
In all of the we'll call them remastered versions, anything that you Google at this point has been swept clean of the missed note. And it's perfect
Oh my
now
God.
due to AI
Well,
correction.
we're fucked.
Yeah.
Like it's so crazy because I wonder how this is gonna affect like stuff in court, like evidence and
Right.
stuff. Like
right.
I
Your
mean,
Honor, he simply wasn't there.
And then they
Think
could
of the
just rewrite.
gaslighting that is going to take place.
But it's propaganda time.
Yeah, I'm fucked because I already have a sketchy memory, but things that I feel like I very strongly remember, I dig in on. I'm going to remember this 10 years from now, and I'm going to be arguing with some asshole 21-year-old who's going to tell me I'm dead wrong. They're going to Google everything, and everything that they pop up is going to have her nailing that fucking note.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be like, well, God damn it, I guess I'm just
we're
old.
all fucked because we have
You got
hours,
dementia?
hundreds of hours of us talking
Right.
that they'll be able to make us
Right.
say
They're
anything.
they're just training for the deep fakes now.
Like there's more than enough to train an AI
I
on each
am
one of us.
here for the deep fake. They already do this
I want to
on.
make one of you. That would be funny.
There's already a bunch of them. There's like dozens of these floating around on Discords
Yeah.
of people who created AI voice construction of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's reading like these bullshitty made up words that are all over 2 + 2
Oh
that
my
I never
God.
fucking
They
said.
they gotta send me that because I want to gaslight you like so hard.
Oh Must be a day that ends in Y.
Whatever the guys that played in Bobby's room sent you that day was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Nadav.
Yes.
Berkey.
You fish.
Freddie
Big
D
fish,
is the
big
real
fish.
pro. Yeah, played with Shota today. For those of you who don't remember, he was chip leading the main event 2 years ago.
He won
or
some
last year.
bracelet.
He won the short deck bracelet 2 or 3 years ago.
Sick.
Japanese player, fun guy. He walks in the room every time. First thing out of his words, he goes, "Hello." But played with him today, and we got in 40,000 pre at 100-100, where I called off a 6-bet jam with Ace Queen off, and I mean instantly.
Well, you made your decision when he was tanking, probably.
Yes, that's true. And well, I don't know. When I 5-bet, it was to fold. I was like, I'm gonna 5-bet fold, and then he tanked a little bit, and I was like, am I gonna 5-bet fold? I don't really. This guy's full of shit, man. And he jammed on me, and I called, and I ran out a queen on the first one, which was good, and then the second one came like 4-3 deuce brick, and he just tables the ace 4 suited, the fucking chop, and I'm like, okay, we're in the mix today, boys.
Okay.
We had a good session though.
Sounds like a fun day.
It was a really fun day. I could barely keep my eyes open. I haven't had enough sleep lately. All these bots online and RTAs keeping me up at night. Yeah, you know.
The defender of the community.
Yeah, that's right.
Batman.
That's
Matt
you
Man.
said it, man. You said it.
Batman.
Some good memes out of that one.
Matt signal.
Okay. Let's not.
What would that be?
The Matt signal?
Yeah.
Oh.
A pickleball paddle.
Maybe like a Teflon pan. And the
handleless
smell
pan
of
in the
burning
sky.
plastic.
I was thinking like a big load of shit just in the sky.
Okay. That's Melissa's signal, if anybody's. All right. I was hoping for the eggplant emoji.
Maybe just like a picture of Huberman in the sky.
Huber Daddy.
Huberman in the sky. That wouldn't be for Huberman, obviously. It'd be for Matt.
It's
Right.
Matt signal.
Yes,
No,
yes.
actually it's Pat
Of course.
McAfee.
Yeah.
It's Pat McAfee in the sky.
He was
He's like,
here.
Pat, I'm coming.
He was here for an entire week and we didn't hang out. I'm so disappointed.
You guys aren't best friends?
I can't believe it. I thought we
It's
were best
coming.
friends. He watches the show. He did the Scruff McGruff thing.
It's
coming, don't
Sure.
worry.
I mean, it has to
He has to
happen.
come and do the Scruff
You
McGruff
gotta
thing with
harass
us.
him more.
Yeah. I tried to get him to play some pickleball while he was here.
A lot of the
Take
olds
you
do
a
say that.
What is
No, that's
Scruff?
Scruff McGruff.
Chicago, Illinois,
Yep.
60652. Help take a bite on crime.
Yeah.
For me.
I played the Scruff.
Oh. Oh, was it actually playing?
Yeah.
So we were just talking and.
Oh.
It's
No.
5 seconds.
Okay,
Matt.
man, you know, I'm not like it's my show.
I hate you guys.
Try to do a thing.
But why are you so frustrated today?
Because I'm here for the bits. I try to create content, and everybody just poops on me.
Are you
No,
missing
Popito.
Are you missing a sexy evening out?
Yeah,
Sexy
hopefully
evening.
I'll work on that.
Sexy.
Did we squash your plans?
No, it'll be all right.
Oh man! All right, so we spoke a little bit yesterday about Fedor coming out and announcing that GG's first plans with him as the new security ambassador was going to be to take a hard stance against MDA, which is not a drug, but actually mass data analysis. So their plans, I think, are to strictly enforce third parties, like third-party software from scraping screens. And I don't know, there hasn't been a lot of information from their side yet. It just seems like kind of a sweeping declaration of kind of like when a president takes office, you know how they do the State of the Union address.
I'm going to get rid of all student debt.
Like,
I'm gonna give you
clean up the swamp.
everything's gonna be free.
Right. Yeah. Well, no,
sounds
that's
sick.
that's the platform they run on. Once they get into office, they give the State of the Union address. They go, "This place is a fucking mess.
Oh.
I'm gonna fire this person and put these people in jail." And and you know, then nothing happens,
happens.
obviously. And I'm not gonna. I wouldn't go so far as to say nothing's gonna happen here. I do think that of all of the potential issues online, MDA may be one of the most solvable, but There's a few things at play here that I think are a bit problematic. Number one, it's probably the lowest common denominator when it comes to cheating that we as a community care about having solved. Data analysis has been out there for 20 plus years with HUDs and everything else. And of course it's advanced, but it's hardly it's one of those things where I think there's actually diminishing returns rather than compounding effects, right? Like at some point we reached a critical mass when it came to the sample. We've crossed, I don't know how many hands Stars has dealt, but I think it's into the billions now, if I'm not mistaken.
Someone won like a prize or something.
Yeah, and that was years ago.
Yeah.
So I think that they're into the billions at this point, and obviously they're one of the longest running sites, but so is Party. So you're talking like two of many. There are many, many, many sites out there. So we're well into the billions of hands that have been played and, scraped to some degree. So as the sample continues to grow, I think the only real return that you get is that the fresher data could maybe be sorted for and see how trends are moving away from the general pool tendencies. But the real reason to do this is twofold. Number one, it's to stop weaponizing data against single individuals. But again, this really only happens at the high stakes or the highest stakes. So you're only preserving a tiny little player pool. And it seems like those guys kind of have it underhand, as best I can tell from, observing the high stakes Discord chats and whatnot. And then number two is to protect amateurs. But the issue with protecting amateurs is that collection of players hasn't changed the way that they play in the last 20 years. So the billions of hands that have been scraped and provided data on what fish do, like all that detox data that says like fish overfold this node and they overcall on these that'll never change. So there's no deprogramming the data that's already out there that is taking advantage of the most susceptible group, which will be the amateurs. And I guess like the problem that I have with this that I kind of spoke on yesterday, and from what a lot of the community response seems to be, is that this is kind of addressing a non-issue and drawing a big distraction away from the bigger issue at play, which is RTA, collusion, multi-accounting, real methodologies of cheating that are not really being talked about or enforced. Lastly, by removing HUDs, by removing the ability to pull hand histories as players, we lose the ability to now police the environment. GG already got rid of Shark Scope, which was one methodology MTT players specifically were utilizing to catch cheaters. As we mentioned, I don't want to call him a super user, but the person who was able to breach GG security and get real-time equities in Money Taker 6-9 was discovered through MDA. So I'm of the impression that this makes things worse, not better. And George, who's very tapped into the high stakes community as well as the players that make up that pool, kind of echoed these sentiments. He said the super user on GG was only caught by players with hand histories, the bots on ACR likewise. Ideally, yes, there would be no MDA possible, but it requires extremely competent security teams first, then enforcement, and this is miles down the list of priorities to ensure longevity. So, I kind of spoke to Fedor a little bit privately, not about this issue, but basically just gave him an open invite to come on the pod anytime that he likes. And he said, he's just getting his feet wet, give it a couple months so that he can get his way around the whole security team. But hopefully we'll hear more from him in the future and, be able to get a direct statement from him down the line.
Yeah, consensus of MDA or the hand history is getting taken away is not great. I think it's kind of a bad thing.
Yeah, you want to elaborate?
Well, just in the sense of it's harder to catch cheaters if you don't have the data to look at stuff.
Yes. I think
how
that's
would you
always
know?
been...
Like, how would you know if Money Taker did what he did without it?
Yeah, and I guess the counterpoint would be like, why do you trust WSOP then? Why do you trust, these regulated sites in America?
That people aren't cheating?
Yeah.
I mean, I assume people are.
You assume that they are cheating?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
I just assume that someone is. I don't know how, but...
yeah.
Somebody just posted that Pure Legacy was playing on BetMGM MTI.
Yeah, I've been getting DMs about that for a couple weeks now, that he's He was caught on WSOP or Stars.
Stars.
It was Stars. He was caught using GTO Wizard in real time. But
Stars PA.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not using GTO Wizard in real time on BetMGM,
who cares?
Well, it's not who cares. It's just they don't.
Just using something else.
Maybe not. But the point is like just because he cheated these other sites doesn't mean that BetMGM has to police him.
No, of course.
It's up to them. Like they can accept them as a customer or not.
Yeah.
But everybody in that pool should be doing diligence. Also, it might not be the same Pure Legacy.
That's true too.
Like I could take the name Pot Ripper tomorrow on any site that I want.
You probably do that.
Probably should do that. I wonder if it comes with the special powers. You know how like when you start a video game, you get to choose the archetype. Like you could be the elf or the warrior, and they all have different attributes. It's like you just pick the screen name Pot Ripper, and it's like you get to see every river card in advance. Like that's a superpower I would like to have.
I'd like to have that.
Yeah, I mean, I just assume that someone is probably doing something that hasn't gotten caught yet.
Yeah. I mean, low levels. When I say low levels of cheating, I mean like low quantity is probably occurring on the regulated sites. But the point being is, I guess that my answer to that would be the reason why I think you can trust places like WSOP, and I'm not sure if Stars offers hand histories or not, is mainly that I assume the regulatory body is doing something to oversee these hand histories, whether it's internally at WSOP or actually at the Nevada gaming level, number one. And then number two, the player pool is so fucking small, right? Like it's easier to spot an outlier.
I kind of feel like online is just going to move more and more towards, like, I don't think we're going to have like everyone playing the same site again. Like I feel like it's gonna move more and more towards smaller and smaller,
right?
More policeable,
like local card rooms,
like,
almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like people just starting their own private clubs, and if you get caught cheating, you get kicked out.
Yeah,
like people just it's like putting the power in the states instead of the whole. You know, like everyone just polices their own. I think it's just gonna move more and more separated into smaller pools.
I think that there's a future that for sure looks that way, and that would be a very bright future for the apps.
Yeah, I was gonna say app games.
I know. Well, that's kind of but that just seems like the only feasible thing is like make the pools small enough that they're easy to police by, and there's a bunch of people policing their own small pools.
And in the United States, the regulated communities are already kind of like that. Mm-hmm. And we could certainly see that. Like, people ask me all the time, when do you think America will be regulated? And I say, well, in what regard? State by state or countrywide? And the people who say, like, interstate, where, the entire United States is playing in the same pool, I almost always say never.
Yeah.
I truly don't know.
I don't think it's ever going to be like how it was before.
Yeah. I mean, even if it was just like we don't get to play rest of the world, but we just get to play coast to coast, I truly don't think we're going to see that happen because it's because it's a state issue.
Mm-hmm. California always going to say no.
Yeah, they're just going to always like stay out of it.
They're going to follow.
And they're going to do whatever. Anyway. Yeah. Sure. Well, if that happens, then it's a little bit different. Now we might get a few million people migrating east.
Yeah,
and,
Prim Beach. Better get some land on Prim.
Yeah, Bakersfield's gonna go way up in
beachfront.
That's right. Oh man, imagine if that's the investment that we see. Like, no, I can see it happening, man. It's coming this way.
Yep.
Let's go get some beachfront property in Ontario, Canada, or Ontario, California, rather. But yeah, I think that California is always going to succeed or remove themselves from the rest of the United States, and that's a big enough incentive in and of itself to not have a collective pool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily even a bad thing for what it's worth.
So. I mean, but I feel like it's the only viable thing at this point. Like,
maybe
just have your own small communities that play and kick out anyone. I mean, it's easy to police 50, 100 people.
It's
hard to police hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. I think that's very true. I also think that even if cheating does happen at scale, even if cheating does happen at a high frequency, it doesn't happen at scale, right? Because like they're just restricted to cheating these small pools.
Yeah.
And if there's a way that like, so if it did become legalized state by state, like say all 50 states opted in, but none of them share liquidity. Mm-hmm. So you only get to operate based off where you're geolocated. That would make it very policeable for even like let's say WSOP was in all 50 states, but they were operating 50 different liquidity pools or overseeing 50 different liquidity pools. I think that they would be able to manage and prevent cheating at a much better efficiency than they currently do, because you would just have regional offices, right? You would just have a different office in each of these states. They would have their own team overlooking these things, but then the expense goes way up, and maybe it's just not worth it for them at the end of the day. You know, then maybe
not
apps
when
win.
they can just do, you know, sports betting apps and slot machine apps, and you know, the sports betting apps, they can just kick you off if you win too much.
Right.
There's a lot more profitable ways of collecting gambling money.
Yeah, that's kind of the big thing, right? Is just like lowering the incentive. Just there isn't that much money for you to take anymore. You know, it's like robbing a bank. They only have a couple thousand in the teller's drawer, so it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
you're gonna get in the safe. Good luck.
Right.
Tough to do. Kind of in line with this, there was a big story that broke from PartyPoker that I kind of previously mentioned. Here are the basic cliffs. There was a Romanian player who moved to Ireland. Party's legal to play in from Ireland, but illegal in Romania. He's part of a stable of state cash games players. And in July 2021, he was asked to prove to Stars that he was in Ireland. He submitted an electric bill in his name that was traced to a friend's place in Dublin to prove that he was living there. Party accepted the documentation, let him continue playing. Over the course of the next year or so, he lost about $97,000 until October of 2022, which is when he won their $1 million jackpot playing spins. Pretty sick. Thereafter, he decided to like slow down his play. He started to remove or he started to withdraw money very slowly. He ended up getting like $300,000 off or so over a few months. And then eventually PartyPoker cut him off and said, your bill isn't sufficient enough evidence that you were in, that you lived in Ireland at the time. So his affiliate then reached out to Party, got them to agree to reopen his account if he could present new proof that he was in Dublin when he won the million. He submitted video proof that the bill was in his name when he logged into the electric company website, but nothing more than that. Party didn't accept it. They refused to reopen. In June of 2023, so now you're talking about like 8 months later, Party agreed to fine him $100,000 and allow him to withdraw the remaining $607,000 without further proof. He accepted. Then Party just rugged him and said, nah, we were just kidding. We wanted to see if you were lying, and it seems like you were.
That's bullshit.
It does seem shady as fuck.
Crazy.
So, yeah, it's absurd because like if nobody wants to go against the fucking operator, so if they're like, hey, we're taking $100K and you get 600, it's like
just happy to take out what you.
Yeah, I was like, well, you know,
for sure.
I kind of need that 600.
Well, because
so...
like, how else are you gonna fight it?
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of he said, she said. So apparently there's a mediation site that works on these cases. It's called eCogra. He went to them, pled his case. They ultimately sided with Party. Party is yet to distribute the seized fund to any player base, which he now claims is a violation of the law. He's mad that his electric bill was good enough for Party when he was losing, but suddenly Drew.
That's the part
this is really common. This is super common.
Like they're okay with you. Well, it's the same super as common. Like, and I know there's probably maybe there's regulatory reasons, but it's like sites will make you wait like a week or two to withdraw, but you can still play the money. So it's like they just kind of want you to lose it back.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is all of these sites seem to KYC at withdrawal, not at deposit. But I think PartyPoker is a little bit different because I know getting money on is incredibly difficult. So they made KYC somewhat at deposit, and it sounds like that was the case because it sounded like they made him submit proof of residency in Dublin, or at least proof of existence in Dublin in some capacity prior to him losing $100,000. So they do KYC out of the gate, but it sounds as though they're
like what caused them to re-review it?
Well, he won $1 million,
right? Like because they approved of it and then they re-reviewed it.
Right. The strange thing to me about like, and look, like I'm glad that they're doing some level of due diligence because like obviously you don't want to just pay out like somebody who's botting the site or doing something malicious, but barring something malicious that they found, like let's assume that they just recognize that this guy is clean, he played his own account, there's no nothing to really scrutinize here except for where was he actually physically located. Like possibly he was VPNing in, possibly he wasn't, kind of thing. Just pay then, right? Because the purpose of the KYC there is to prevent like laundering and cheating and multi-accounting and all this other stuff. And it's like if he passes all of those tests and the last thing left to qualify one way or the other is where was his physical being during the actual time they hit the jackpot or whatever, kind of like who cares, you know?
Pay the fucking man his money.
Yeah. Big shout out to Dandruff. Todd will tell us that was his summary basically that I was reading. There's a long, very, very, very long 2+2 thread that would take the entire show to get through. If you guys are interested in that, you can head over to 2+2 and check it out. But I think Todd does a pretty good job of summarizing it on his forum, Poker Fraud Alert. And yeah, it
the fact
seems
that he was
like
keeping that much on the site still is kind of wild.
well, he couldn't get it off
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he was able to withdraw some of it.
slowly. So he got 300 off slowly.
Okay.
Like sometimes it's taking out 5K, 10K, but you can't just rip off $1 million. Probably.
Yeah, this happened when Jordan chopped the the Scoop main event in like 2015 or 2016, something like that. Again, no problems when he was losing.
Right.
But when he suddenly has like a 500K score or 450K score or whatever, he was able to get 100, 150 off like almost immediately. And then the rest just instantly got seized. And it was like 18 months.
Can you P2P on these sites?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that shit off there.
Well, that's how he got some of it off.
Yeah.
Was transferring to a former Stars pro who was just able to like liquidate immediately, but couldn't take all of it. So, you know, then it gets pinged, and he has to go through the paperwork and the filings and everything else. And it was just 18 months of red tape until they changed over ownership and the new owners came in and said, we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care. Just like pay. And
Just pay?
Just pay. Well, and the thing is that I don't know if you guys recall, but this was like just slightly past Black Friday, like 2013-ish to 2015. There was a lot of Americans who relocated, and there were a lot of Americans that were VPNing on Stars.
This was way before Gordon, right?
No, that's what I was about to say.
Oh.
So Jake Schindler and Gordon Veo both also had massive scores on Stars right around this time. Gordon won W-Coop main event or something like that for 700K.
Yeah.
And Schindler, something along the lines of like 200,000, 250,000 on there. And the difference was Jordan wasn't an outlier case. There were dozens and dozens of these guys who had six figures locked up, and they were being scrutinized as to whether or not they were actually out of the country when it happened. So what Jake and Gordon did is they just immediately took to the offense. And Jake was like blasting them all over 2+2, everywhere publicly that he possibly could, like just shredding them to bits, saying they stole the money and everything else. They redistributed his money to the player pool.
Squeaky wheel.
Gordon Veo took it even a step further. He took them to court, and he tried to sue them or countersue them. I'm not even sure who initiated it, but he took them to court, trying to prove his innocence, which is a really bold fucking move, because I believe that they were doctored. I don't recall. I don't remember how this all shook out.
I've heard about like post Black Friday. I've heard a lot about like photoshopped documents.
Oh,
being,
yeah.
I mean, it says it
like
right there on
kind
the
of the
screen.
norm.
Yeah, there were like services that would do this for you.
Yeah.
That would just like photo. There were other services that would like actually set up a physical location.
Oh.
That like didn't exist. In like, you know, another country, whatever, get you like a PO, not a PO box because they wouldn't accept that, but like, you know, a rented unit basically, and set you up with like a utility bill or whatever. There was so much taking place that would try to legitimize people's accounts. So Veo taking it to court whenever he knew that he shopped the documents is fucking bold.
That's really ballsy.
But ultimately they both ended up, you know, fighting the good fight and losing. They got their money redistributed. I don't believe they ever saw payment. Dozens and dozens of other people who kind of just like quietly were going back and forth with support for a long period of time. When ownership changed over, all got paid.
Wow.
They just immediately got paid.
Okay, so Squeaky Wheel did not get
Did not get the grease. No.
Squeaky wheel got
No.
nothing.
Quiet
It
wheels
was
got the
the
grease.
patient ones
Quiet
that were
wheels.
kind of just like,
Good wheels.
they were kind of just trying and praying, you know, They're in the pray and spray camp.
Yeah, I mean that's if I was like VPNing, I would not be going to court.
Yeah, I'd be.
Your Honor, he simply can't play
Like,
from
I
there.
would love if you'd give me my
I would
money.
just be begging. I'd be like,
please.
"Can I take half?
Down bad,
Please,
yeah.
Come on.
Can I take half? That'd be great." You know.
It's kind of crazy because like I remember like when I lived in North Carolina, there was a couple people that had like their setups like in Canada or Peru or something along those lines, and they would play, and they would just VPN in or whatever and into the setup, and like that was like 6 years ago, and now like you see nobody doing that really for like stars or tilt. I mean tilt, like just not tilt, whatever. Party
GG.
poker. Stars and party poker. it's just like a thing that just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think somewhere along the line, stars I think is probably, or sorry, maybe stars also because they're regulated. I was gonna say party though. I think is probably still pretty critical of people VPNing in.
Yeah.
Because they are in regulated, specifically they're in the United States now, and I imagine stars is actually still somewhat critical of this. As a matter of fact, I'm almost positive they are, because outside of COVID, I don't really know too many players that are willing to take the chance at VPN. But when it comes to GG, I mean, like, come on, bro.
I mean, we're not talking about GJ.
I can tell you a half dozen times between COVID and now where somebody won a Sunday major on WSOP.com and also won a Sunday major on GG. And it's like, well, I got to tell you one thing. I don't know how you got to play GG, but I do know that if you're playing WSOP, you are physically standing in Nevada or New Jersey. And that's that. Like, that's just what, and that's what I mean. It's like, when you talk about arrogance and stupidity, like, these player pools are so goddamn small. You can't fire the 250 on WSOP when you're running deep in a bird on GG, man. Like, the community talks. People find out. That shit gets out there.
There's just haters around.
Well, to be fair, I don't think they're doing anything about it. And that's okay. Like, from my perspective, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't care.
This is a governmental issue, right? It's just a matter of, like, whether or not the operator gets cracked down on by whoever's regulating them. This has nothing to do with the player-operator relationship, right? Like, nobody who's VPNing is cheating. Yeah. They might be taking on, like, some small amount of risk because technically they're breaking TOS. But, like, you know, there's... Whenever you talk about, like, the letter of the law, there's a big difference between speeding and murder, right? And I would equate, like, VPNing to speeding and RTAing to murder. If we're talking about, like, breaking TOS.
Making a right and not turning your blinker on.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not even speeding.
You're not endangering anyone else. You're just actually, like, putting more money in the prize pool.
Well, yeah, you might be taking some more out too, but the point is like,
but
what
then
you're
at the same rate, like probably the same amount are losing than are VPNing.
Yes,
so.
and what you're most importantly, what you're not doing is like what Brian Hastings did, where you're just signing into somebody else's account that actually is physically in that location because you know it's clean and it's verified, and now you're playing some whale account versus a bunch of people that think they're playing a whale, but they're actually playing an elite player.
Right.
For anybody who wants to know what I'm referencing, that was like, I want to say 2017, 2018. I think Hastings was winning a pile in like high stakes mix by playing under one of the fish accounts, which is way fucking different, right?
Yeah.
Like totally different. That's now a misrepresentation of who you are. That's bordering on multi-accounting. I mean, granted, you're not getting the benefits of having like actually two accounts at the table or colluding or anything like that, but
you know that people have that account tagged a certain way.
Exactly. What you gain by even just being anonymous, right? Just even opening a new account is just worth infinite. But if it's one step further where you're actually getting to play on a fish account, like you just print EV until the stats catch up, which takes quite a period of time. So yeah, I'll be paying attention to this story, seeing what happens, seeing if Party pays out. I don't have high hopes for the guy. I really don't. And it's a shame because the money is just collected off of the players in the spin pool. So it's like, you know, it doesn't matter to Party. They're not shelling out the $1 million.
Yeah.
It's not like a bonus or something.
But they can, otherwise they'll keep it.
No, they have to redistribute.
Well, they'll put it right back in the spins, I would assume.
Or it's
or
bonus
distributed
Doesn't
amongst.
sound like that's happened.
No, it doesn't sound like that's happened, Melissa. I gotta tell you, it
So-
doesn't.
it sounds like a
their
bonus for
options
security
Yeah,
team.
they can keep it. It was like when the cops.
Christmas bone. Oh, the
you know, when
the
the cops-
search and seizure.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
the cops they seize a bunch of shit.
Yeah, and then
Keep
they
a
just
little in their pocket.
they get to just like buy new espresso machines and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
A
nice.
slush fund?
Yes, it's basically a slush fund. There was one other thing that happened. I don't have the Twitter thread right now. It was the GG Millions. They had a
Somebody was playing
mystery bounty. So they had a mystery bounty that was guaranteed to be $1 million to the biggest bounty.
Oh, yeah, I
and
heard
for
about
whatever
that.
reason, I don't have the thread in front of me, so I'm not sure what
Here it
drove
is.
this. But it sounds as though they paid $780K instead of $1 million to the top bounty, which left a remainder of $220K.
With no reason? Or
I mean, I didn't look into it much further than these tweets, and that's on me for what it's worth. I didn't think this was that interesting of a story. But I did think it was worth bringing up since we were talking about the party thing. So it appears as though they mispaid out the top bounty for whatever reason. Like either I would assume the reason why I got mispaid out is because they didn't hit the guarantee.
Okay.
If I had to venture a guess, right? So what ultimately ends up happening now is that they distributed the remaining $220K to everybody else that was in the money that qualified for bounties, which is interesting because
seems weird.
yeah, because well,
Because why would that ever make sense?
the only thing I can think of is that it would alter the payout structure of the rest of the bounties, and they felt like that they needed to
But if it's $1 million,
guaranteed.
yeah, if it's
Up
$1
top.
million
Yeah.
promised top bounty, then that's the number.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless we're talking different currencies
Right.
here.
Right. And to take that a step further, the only thing that it really could have done is make the other bounties worth more, not less. Right? Like if it was actually supposed to be $1 million to the top bounty, that $220K should have came out of the rest of the bounties,
Yeah.
which means that the average bounty should have been less
Yeah.
once you remove the $1 million than what it actually was. So it sounds like they're being double compensated, the remaining bounty getters. And the guy who won it is pissed.
He should
I'll be
be.
pissed too.
Yeah, it's weird.
Especially
because
if
it's
he's
like,
playing in a fucking legal territory.
Right.
I'd be fucking
Right.
heated.
It's a weird thing because it's like on one hand, you just had the luckiest thing on earth happen to you. But on the other hand, you weren't really paid your just dues.
No,
right?
you got robbed.
220K is a lot of goddamn
lot of
money.
money.
That's a lot of money.
So
That's
yeah,
like
you
3 sessions in
you
Bobby's
just
room
got
for me.
really lucky,
Jesus.
but you want to get your full luck's worth
Right.
that you're
yeah.
promised.
Yeah.
That's your promise.
Honestly, we're having fun with this. I'm kind of joking, but there would be a part of me that would a little bit like struggle a little bit with this because I'm not. I just like the idea of being charitable, you know what I mean, and equitable as much as possible. So it's like,
So
I-
let them keep it and then give me the $220 out of your pocket for your
right.
mistake.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine.
Charitable.
Yeah, no, like, look, at the end of the day, I would want the 220K, but I would also kind of just be like, I was so fucking lucky to get 780K. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't
need
know.
that
I don't.
220.
All I know is I was promised something and they didn't follow
They didn't
through.
follow through,
And
yeah.
then they made a mistake in who they gave it to. So let those people keep it and then give me some out of your pocket because I know you make a lot of money.
So hold on. Yeah. So wait, I'm really confused. So they paid out like 780 immediate to this guy and also paid out the extra 220 immediate to the.
Yes, they distributed.
immediate.
No,
Oh,
not,
no,
not
that's
immediate.
fine.
It was
Okay.
after the fact.
Okay,
It was once they realized that they fucked up. But the interesting thing to me is like, so that guy's playing in game, right? The mystery bounty comes up, the box, boom, boom.
$1 million supposed to be in your account, right?
Did it say when it hit the screen? Did it say $1 million
I'm sure
cash
it
bounty,
did,
or did it
right?
say 780K?
I'm sure it said $1 million because that's
You would think that was programmed
Right?
in, right?
Yeah.
But-
Why would it say 780?
And when did
Because
you
that's
just,
what got
also
distributed
it's a
to him.
weird number.
and when did you just see $1 million in your account immediately? That's the other question.
What kind of
'Cause,
scam
like, when the-
FC is that?
when you-
Well, that's why I'm suggesting that maybe it just said 780K. Like whatever, I would assume whatever algorithm they used to distribute the prize pool, probably like didn't have the guarantee
if it
So
said,
that means it happened immediately,
that he was paid. Sure.
or that the rest of the
No,
field.
no.
God,
The
imagine getting the
220K was
million.
non-existent. They They infused the 220K.
Okay.
I would
But
just
they
go
gave it to the rest of the
into
field.
lobby, and whatever the lobby says about the bounty is what should be
Well, yeah.
upheld, right?
Yes, but here's the thing: who do you bring this case to?
Fedor.
All right, buddy, time to get off your bag and fucking do something. Somebody
Fedor
tagged.
must be making a killing, but I have to interject because he has been
must
like
say.
a hardcore pudgy penguins guy.
Yeah.
And these penguins
Are
are
taking
getting
off.
Flying.
not only are they flying, but they're getting like 5-figure airdrops
Yep.
to each penguin, and he has however many. So
He's
bro is cooking.
Fucking
Dylan-
5 years into cooking with penguins.
Yeah, Dylan's been shilling them to me every day, and I said, "That's a top signal, sir. I want nothing to do with your penguins."
Well,
Keep your penguins.
yeah.
I'm going home.
Queen Bee Poker says, I think when you open the bounty list, it said 780K. I watched the streamers that showed the bounty lobby, and it said
Okay.
top bounty was 780K.
okay, well if it said that,
so it
then
was false
maybe-
advertisement, but
Which is also scam
But
FC.
then why did they give 220 to the?
because they knew it was false advertisement. But why did they give it to everybody else?
Yeah,
is the
exactly.
question.
If they
Why did
gave
they
the
just make this guy
220,
whole?
It should have gone to him. Otherwise, they just shouldn't give anything.
I
away.
think what happened is that the 220 was already distributed to the remaining bounties, and rather than pull that money off of each one and then give it back to this guy, they just said, let it be. That's I'm speculating.
Like it
I
was
don't really know.
wrongfully-
Yes, I think they wrongfully distributed, let's say there was 1.5 million in the bounty prize pool. I think that they took 720,000 of it. Is that right? Yeah, 720,000 of it and distributed amongst the other bounties instead of only 500,000 distributed amongst those bounties. And then I think they were like, well, the damage is done. We're not coming out of pocket for this.
Yeah.
You know, this guy's just going to have to be happy with 780K here.
That's out of pocket.
And
But
to be
220K is not a lot for these sites.
I want to see more
Like
information about
that's
this.
like a tiny fraction of what they make per day.
right. And the thing that they could maybe rest on is that they guaranteed $1 million bounty. They could say that they meant the prize pool,
Yeah.
not the top prize. But I think obviously like everybody sees through that as being bullshit.
Yeah, I mean that's just something that would get called out immediately.
money.
Yeah.
$1 million
Come on,
bounty.
Fedor.
$1 million
Give him-
bounty.
Give him a
10
penguin.
penguins.
Give him a penguin.
Give him 10 penguins.
Fedor.
How much are penguins now? Like 18 ETH or something?
I think the floor is 30.
Really?
Yeah, they're
I think
flying
the floor is
Oh my
30.
God.
But like, why though?
because fucking Fedor is pumping them. He's
They
been pumping them
love-
for
people
5
love
years.
The penguins.
Ever since COVID, he has been
People
talking about
love-
pudgy penguins, pudgy
30,
pudgy.
30 floor is like on par with board.
No, they
mutants?
Flipped
passed.
them.
They flipped them.
No, I know that they flipped them. I'm saying like back when
in the bowl.
peak NFT times. That, like I said, Dylan's been shilling them to me every day. I go, bro, come on, man. We're 3 years past the NFT peak. We know what these things are now.
Well,
It says
they're
that
gonna come
the floor for a pudgy
They will.
penguin
Yeah.
is 57K.
Yeah,
okay, so
20
20 ETH.
so how many penguins
How
does
much is each?
Fedor owe this guy?
He owes him four.
Four penguins,
Four
all right.
penguins.
Seems
four
fair to me.
penguins.
Give him 4 penguins.
man 4
Fedor,
penguins.
it's time.
Or you can give him the one with the gold crown.
Yeah. That's right.
4 floors or
Or one gold
yeah.
crown.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or one rare penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give this man a rare penguin.
Lee actually, really great phrase here that I think puts in perspective for me, who's an idiot. He says, if you give a monkey an apple, he's very happy. If you give a monkey 2 apples and then take one away, he's pissed.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, I think of it as only 1 apple, but the truth is they gave you 2 and then took 1 back.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or at least 22% of 1 back.
Think of how rare you get that lucky.
Right.
You don't want to get shorted
that's
on
the
your
thing.
one lucky thing.
That's
your
the thing
lucky
is,
day.
I truly believe that I've been so fucking lucky in life that when I get lucky, I just kind of like shrug and go,
But what if this guy wasn't?
that was good.
yeah, but what if this guy?
wasn't a
What
bad
if
thing.
this is the first lucky
No,
thing
yeah,
that's
yeah.
ever happened to him in his
You
life?
guys are fucking right. I'm not trying to make a case.
He arose from the rubble of war.
Look,
and
I'm not trying to make a case for me here.
Rebel of war.
I'm just saying GG wishes that I won the prize because I would be easier to deal with.
So operators, if you ever want to short someone, just short Berkey
Short
and
me.
it'll be fine.
We'll work it out. Like I would just be like,
No,
look, get
there
me
would
on.
be such a thing on this podcast if you got shorted.
I'd be like, hey, put me on Game of Gold. Let's get the podcast out to Korea to do the pregame show, and
Nah, they're not giving you anything.
No, they're not giving me shit. They're just gonna say, take your 780K and
Yeah.
eat it.
I'm ready for
Unbelievable.
Korea.
Then I would be
Annyeonghaseyo.
Annyeonghaseyo.
I'm ready for Korea. Let's
I don't know
go.
what any of that means.
means
All
it's
right.
popping in fucking Korean, bitch.
All right. I hate to pick at a wound here, Guapo. I really do think you're in a mood today, and I'm trying to ease the blow as much as possible. But
Enough said.
A lot of the olds do say that.
What is
No,
it
that's
called?
Scruff McGruff.
Chicago, Illinois.
Yep.
60652. Hell, take a bite on crime.
Yeah.
all right, Guap, walk us through this one. I'll be gentle. I can't promise the same from Landon.
All right, guys. Believe it or not, I find myself in the muck again.
The horror.
Give me just 1 second. Let me set this up. Got to do some housekeeping here. I was playing 6 tables the other night,
Oh,
playing a little
grinding.
50-cent $1 on WSOP. And I feel like I might have got a little bit spewy here. Take a look.
We got what we got.
Okay, so I am opening from the low jack. And I got a few notes on this player. We have played many a hands together. I did contemplate putting in a 4-bet, but his range is pretty snug. And if I had to put it on an exact range, I would say it's like 10s plus. He might have a little bit of ace-queen in here. So that's what we're looking at. But we decided just flat. Flop of 6, deuce, 4, rainbow, and he decides to check. When he checks here, my first instinct is that maybe he has ace-king as well. It would be a little strange for him to play 10s and jacks this way as they need protection. But sometimes we just have the best hand against ace-queen, so we check back. 6 on the turn. He checks again, and my monkey poker brain says, this guy doesn't have any 6s. And I do. I'm going to say I have 5, 6, and 6,
So
7.
we're bluffing.
Yeah. So I'm going to say I have 5, 6, 6, 7 here, like half the time. I have a6 suited in full.
What?
Wait, why?
Why,
It's just a 3-bet pot. Of course he has a6 suited.
Stop.
No, that's.
I'm not opening
That
a6
folds.
suited from...
You don't call 3-bet with ace 6 suited
Why?
because it's high rakes, low jack versus small blind.
Okay, well, let's...
It's not Bobby's room.
I mean, fine, but like...
What do you mean fine?
I think it's.
Fucking a6 suited.
It's like really tight, the call range here.
Yeah, I'm sure, but...
So I
Nobody's
decided...
folding ace.
If he's gonna make an error, it's gonna be with calling a6 suited, you know? It's
I
like, come
decide
on.
to turn my hand into a bluff here and just... I get really stuck on the fact that this guy just doesn't ever have a 6. He calls. We see a deuce on the river. Doesn't really change much. He checks again, and I decide to put in all of my...
So we're just gonna like wrap a 6.
Yeah, we're just going to say, hey, I have
and
a
try
6
to
and you
fold.
don't. And he shows his kings.
I do like the fact that in the muck segments, you've gone with a read where you felt like you needed to bluff in some capacity. The ace jack comes to mind on the 4 flush where you had top 2. And you chose that very hedgy bet size, like, half pottish for the check raise instead of the check jam.
I appreciate what you're doing right now.
I like that you went for the 2x pot. Like, if you're going to commit to the bit, you say that I got 6.
Yeah.
And 2x pot says, I got a 6, baby. So there was no fucking around here with like 3/4 pot, which I think would have been like, a pretty tremendous error with... I don't even think like going for value for 3/4 pot makes sense. Like queens, kings, aces that you slow play.
Yeah.
Just jamming, get called by an ace.
Right. Yeah. Well, not even just by an ace, but like whatever other over pairs decided to take this line, and you want to make some of them indifferent, the 9s, 10s, jacks. You don't want to be like 3/4 potting with.
What about the turn side?
Turn size is what?
Half pot.
I went half.
I think like 2E makes more sense, but that's my default whenever it comes to polarizing
You're
lines in
planning
these
on
spots.
jamming
Well,
river.
2E is pot, so I wouldn't go pot. You still want to bet like 9s?
I'm just trying to think what what your 6 would actually do.
Yeah,
Not
I
that
don't-
there's that many 6.
I don't think like you're building your betting range that includes a 6 around what you would want to do with 9s.
Well, you're betting the same things. You're not going to split sizes.
Yeah, I guess. 9s is going to be a pretty low frequency bet. I think if you potted 9s, it's kind of whatever.
I just wouldn't pot a 6 because why would I pot a 6? You're going to just jam river anyways.
You would like half pot.
I just go B75
75, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking.
if I'm going to reopen.
What do you
75 jam.
think? What do you think starts folding for pot that doesn't for?
not about what does or doesn't. It's just about like ace highs become more indifferent on turn versus 75 versus pot.
Yeah, that's interesting to me because
Like ace king,
I
ace
feel
queen.
like the range that continues is pretty inelastic, but I think that changes once you start to get as small as half pot, right? Like now I think the ace king, ace queen highs start calling.
Right. If those start calling,
more?
if those start like straight green calling right in the machine. If
I
you
don't
just-
think that'll be the
thinking,
case,
like,
but I
if
understand what you're
we're-
saying.
Repping a 6, that means we're trying to fold better. So pairs, I don't like half pot's not gonna do
Yeah.
much to the
Agreed.
part of the range.
Agreed. That's why I think like pot here seems like I don't think we're betting a ton on this 6 is I
Yeah.
guess my overarching point. Like even with 9s, we're playing a pretty high check back frequency here, I would assume, especially after being checked to twice.
Why would you want to check back
Need some
9s here?
protection.
It
We
kind
only
of
wanna-
feels like ace
Well,
king.
you can't really
Don't-
get value from worse, so you're just betting for the sake of
But don't-
denying ace
Does
king,
nines
ace
bet
queen.
flop though?
Nines are gonna bet flop a good bit.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those things where 9s is going to bet once, and you're going to
Yeah.
pick between the two streets.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
So you're going to bet 9s on the flop some of the time and then check it back on the turn. And the rest of the time, you're going to have check
feel
back
like
on the
I
flop
bet-
and bet the turn.
I'd bet flop with 9s.
Yeah, I would bet pretty freely when check 2 in a 3-bet pot on 6-3 deuce.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case.
Six
was.
6 deuce 4.
6
Yeah.
deuce 4, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would bet quarter there pretty freely.
Lando, take it away.
Sure. If we're looking at the wizard says it's not a range bet for the small blind player, as they have a good amount of the double Broadway cards that don't just want to start rifling in money. Good example being King Jack of Hearts, because you don't have a backdoor flush draw. King 10, same sort of idea. And then your ace highs that don't really connect either. And you want to start bluffing more with like your ace wheels that you use at a low frequency. And then your suited connectors have some sort of equity where you can play check call or check raise depending. You protect that by checking some of your good overpairs that need not as much protection, I imagine. Like aces is going to be a nice one, and kings to potentially play check raise versus the stabs on flop. And you're hoping for the low jack to start stabbing with those pairs and potential ace highs and hands that can be bluffing as well, like the suited broadways that the out of position player are going to check, like a hand like king 10 suited potentially. So not a range bet, and because of that, the out of position player needs to be careful with just betting in general. Like 9s can't just start rifling in money, because if you do get called, turns get a little bit scary. So in this spot, did we say what the opponent had already? We did, right? We said
Yeah,
kings.
Yep.
Yeah, so kings, you're mostly going to be betting, sometimes checking, but it fits the narrative where jacks, queens, and kings and aces are going to find some checks, and then sometimes you're going to bet for the bigger size. As because we're not range betting, we do want to go for a big size if we're going to bet the flop. So he checks, and then for the in-position player, we'll see here like king 10, king jack, going to start bluffing to try to get some ace highs to fold, as well as not necessarily push equity, but just protect yourself on Broadway overcard boards and things like that, where if we always check back Broadway cards, if we bet, then the Broadway card is going to be scary. So we'll see here that all of the pairs are kind of doing what Matt was talking about, where the 7s through jacks are going to mix checkbacks, just because the fear of getting check raised is very real, because they don't have a range bet, which means getting check raised when they have aces is like relatively annoying when you have hands that can't really improve very well, like 9s, 8s, 10s, when the board comes over card and stuff like that.
Now, the reason I'm not seeing a whole lot of color here on the ace king suited is because I'm assuming it's a 4-bet pre.
Yeah, so it just mixes 4-bet pre a lot of the time, low frequency amount of the time it can flat, and that's simply because of the rake structure. So in game, if you're just going to pure 4-bet ace king suited and then start mixing flats with ace king off, that's how the machine would mix the ace king combos, as ace king has more equity. If you get jammed on and call, you can make a flush more often.
Sure. And you don't have to do this, but I would assume flatting here with ace king suited is maybe a little bit better if I actually give him a range that I described earlier, where it's considerably tighter than what we're seeing.
Kind of, but like it's just a matter of like what is considerably tighter, as like the 3-bet range seems relatively normal to me, of like suited Broadway, some ace wheels, some small amounts of the Fantastic Four, and then like 6 is low frequency plus.
Not everybody knows what the Fantastic Four is. Can you please elaborate?
He's elaborated once before, but I think every time he brings it up, he should re-elaborate because at some point this is going to turn into a T-shirt. Go on.
5/4. Yeah, I'm just gonna have a T-shirt of 5/4 through 7/8 at like 50% or quarter frequency. Just a fantastic. Like that's the new logo.
And which one's which? Exactly?
Yeah. So 5/4 is Mr. Fantastic because you can make a wheel, and that's fantastic.
Right.
6/5 is the Human Torch.
Okay.
Love yeeting it off with the 6/5. 7/6 is the Thing.
Okay.
Because Invisible Woman is clearly 7/8 as like it's like not the greatest one.
Okay. Wow. what are you implying, bro?
Just like the straights are worse.
What does it have to do with women?
Yeah,
it's just Invisible Woman. That's just how it is.
Why not Invisible Man?
Yeah, why?
Because it's Invisible Woman, and someone has to be Invisible Woman.
Why
in
is
the
she so
Fantastic
bad?
Four. It's just not as fantastic as 5/4.
Welcome to the club.
Why isn't it Mrs. Fantastic?
This is why
Talk to them.
This is why Landon's here at 6 p.m. on Valentine's Day.
That's right. Valentine's Day has been canceled for Landon Tice.
How come we are betting so when check 2 it's having the heart combos?
By the way, I'd like to point out King 6 is in there, so the A6 can't be that
go
bad.
over King Jack suited.
King 6. This is for small blind.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Go over King Jack suited, unless I saw something wrong.
So King Jack of Hearts doesn't bet because you don't have a backdoor flush draw.
When check 2.
Yeah. So here King Jack of Hearts bets more as it's more likely to get floated by some backdoor combos.
You float and then fold turn.
We hope he out of position floats and then folds.
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
you want the heart turn to peel off and then double barrel.
Right. Badoogie.
Or just not. It doesn't really matter what the turn is because if there's 3 backdoor combos,
2/3 of them are gonna fold.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's why when you're looking at combos and like how to bet,
You want to unblock the backdoor.
with King Jack specifically, because like Queen Jack and King Queen are mixing more check, so like it's not as perfect as you'd like it to be.
Confusing as fuck.
Yeah, and I think part of
so
it.
that's just annoying and confusing because King Queen wants to check it with the hearts and King Jack wants to bet it with. Okay, yeah. Cool.
It probably has
Easy
something to
remember.
do with the check raising frequency of some of the back doors, but not entirely sure. Sometimes it's hard to figure these things out on the fly, and the machine is just annoying. Just like
using ass.
Just like some people ask me to
sensitive
explain.
little bitch, GTO Wizard. It's so sensitive to these. It's like annoying. It's like, God. Oh, this one you want to do hearts, but not with this one, and they're only one card different. You better remember that, or you're bad.
Well, I assume it's just because King Queen beats King Jack when he has King Jack.
It just simply has more equity.
Yeah.
Kind of, because like if you
I'm
think that's the
simply
case,
annoyed.
then like King 10. Also, we're folding pre a lot with King 10, so
Right.
it's just probably a combo.
Yeah, you
thing.
have King Queen the most. It has a much higher equity than the other 2 bluff combinations.
Yep, and then you can with King Queen suited, like with a backdoor, you can bet, call, or raise. But with King Queen of Hearts, if you bet and get check raised, you have to fold, and that's toxic.
But the King Jack is bad enough that it's okay.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
King Jack, because like with King Jack suited, we get King Queen to fold. I imagine sometimes. So if we look here, like King Queen.
Nope.
Just plays check raise.
Oh, King Queen of Hearts folds.
Sure, King Queen of Hearts folds, but that's not great when we have King Jack of Hearts because he doesn't have it now.
Right.
So you can bet King Queen to potentially get some chops out of the way. But yeah, anyways, toxic poker is
That's
toxic
like what
poker.
happens when I look at solvers, by the way, is that I get stuck on that one point and then I'm just like, fuck this whole thing because this one tiny piece doesn't make sense to me. So fuck it. The whole thing is broken.
So for Ace King for Guapo here, we have a bet on flop and it's basically a value bet as we do get called by worse hands like this ace high backdoor, ace queen offs have to mix, and then we're pushing some equity versus some pairs where if they do raise us, we can still peel if we have the backdoor combos as seen here. Sometimes you can just do bet jam because why not? So yeah, most of the time you're gonna bet, and then I guess for solve purposes, I can just go to strategy and then go like that. Let's do that. So now we've given Guapo the check back with the ace king. Good job. We check. Turn is the 6 of spades.
Correct.
6 of spades. And now for the out of position player, his size is going to be 2E or check, being you want to bet the same size across multiple streets to be all in. And that's simply a function as because he checked back, he was trying to gain information as what does in position have, where if he bets, he's mostly going to have some really strong hands. And if he checks, he's going to be a little bit more capped because some of the overpairs are going to stab flop for protection value. So now this is where queens, jacks, and tens are kind of taking like the reins here and saying jacks, queens, definitely good enough to go all in.
Like king, queen,
by river.
and queen, jack will target like the aces to fold, ace X to fold.
Right, we're targeting ace high folds. We're trying to clean up our out, so if a king or queen comes, we can still win. And then we still want to bet with some flush draws and some gut shots. 7-8 suited, mostly playing check because it's good enough to check call or check raise facing a bet. And then the other ones you want to rifle in to try to get higher cards to fold, and then maybe river a 5. So for out of position, his strategy is going to be 2-ear check. And most of the time, if he's betting, it looks like here you go, Melissa, for the molding is king 10 suited is going pot, and then king 9 suited, but now king jack of spades isn't because it bets the flop most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
But
king
then
queen.
our hearts, what's our hearts doing?
So hearts now for out of position are going for the bet, as in position is more likely to check back a backdoor flush draw.
Hold on a second. It wants you to check back the king, queen of hearts on flop and then bet turn with it.
No. He's talking about two different
This
positions.
is if under the gun has a check back. Most of the time, they're going to check back some backdoor hands, like ace queen with a backdoor flush draw because it wants to try to realize. Or like,
but the hearts is a pure check.
But hearts for and in position is a pure check. So on the turn for out of position, king queen of hearts likes betting because it's likely that they had ace queen that now has to fold versus pot. So now because it goes check check, the suits are good as we make these hands fold now, which is good. Which is good for the out of position player if they're bluffing. So he goes for check. Guapo here with ace king has a pure check back, but bro wanted to go for the bet.
I mean, to be fair, ace king off bets.
Ace king off does bet. It's just a function of what your suits are, and it's kind of it's not like a merge where you still get called by worse and you still get better to fold a little bit.
I think it's because
it's like a mini mega master.
Ace
no,
of spades is doing it because you're not less likely to get check jammed on, right?
No. If you look, it's a mix of all different types of combos, but I think what it's a byproduct of is blocking king 6 suited.
No, she's right. She's right.
Spades
Wait, am I
wants to go off.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying it's the higher frequency one.
Yeah.
It's less likely you get raised. Yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine that the other aspect of it is just blocking king 6 suited.
Mildly, because king of diamonds is still in. It's just the ace of spades. As if we do go for bet, we'll see that the out of position player does get to play a small amount of check jams coming from the ace of spades, like ace 3 of spades, low frequency, ace queen of spades.
It probably gives you bluffs on river too.
So
river spades.
Yeah, you can make them fold on river spades as you have some good blockers. So
I guess king 6 exited the flop node because it just c-bets.
Sure, and it doesn't really exist very often. Like we look at the percent of how much king 6 exists, it's like 5% or less.
Yeah, it's just pure bets flop.
Sure. So now when we look at under the gun, we do want the spade as we don't get check jammed on as much if we do have the spade. So ace of spades is nice, and you are getting some better hands to. You're not actually getting better hands to fold. Actually, you're never getting these pairs to fold. They just have to call versus B67.
I'm not folding with those.
Where if we just lock a pot size bet, this is kind of I imagine the difference. Where if we give the in position player 2-ear check, pairs are going to probably be a little bit more indifferent in that case. Yeah, like nines is angry, only nines, but the EV of the pairs have gotten lower, and now ace king calls less. So the 67% on the turn is really targeting the high cards, where when you bet ace king, it's more likely you get called by ace queen and then push some equity over to the river.
It's a value bet.
It's a value bet. You're value betting the turn, and sometimes you get called by better, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Okay. So here, let me change it to half pot. So like now, because the difference between B67 and B50 is like relatively significant, we'll see that in position shouldn't be folding the double Broadway, like ace high Broadway as much, right? So now ace king calls like almost pure. With clubs it's bad, but other suits is fine. Ace king mostly calling. With spades is bad, with other suits is fine. And then ace queen is still going to be in the mix a little bit, and you still get called by the pairs, so you're just going to get called a ton. So if the small blind calls and the river is the deuce of clubs, now we're just hoping that we chop because bluffing would be too much, I imagine. Small blind checks range, and now we have ace king and we check back. And our range here mostly splits into the jam node and some small amounts of like scam bets, but for all intents and purposes, I'll just remove it to make it look nicer. Like choosing 3 sizes here is going to be kind of nonsense. So now we'll see here, if Guapo has jacks plus, it needs to be a pure value jam, as you do get called by ace highs. And then you can't bet ace king, as you're hoping he has ace highs.
Sure.
So ace jack, like certain suits are bluffing, so you can bluff some ace highs some of the time, I imagine.
Just trying to, because there's better aces to fold, but when you have ace king, there's no better ace.
Well,
so-
you chop with them. So like when
Yeah.
you jam your ace highs here, you're hoping that you get
Oh, right,
ace
'cause it's double
king
paired.
to fold on the river facing
Okay.
jam. So if you have an ace and a king in your hand, you're not helping your cause. So that's kind of what's happening there. And then it looks like facing the pot jam, like out of position does have to make some pretty tough calls, mind you. Like 5-4 is a nice one, depending on the suits, as you block 6-5 suited. And it's more likely that in position has nonsense. But a hand like nines isn't very helpful because it's not as good as like when it comes to having some blocker unblocker properties, as we see that under the gun is going to be bluffing with some 9x's in their hands.
This is what small blind's range looks like after I jam.
Small blind, this is small blind's range now, facing a jam from you. So he's calling with like the high cards. Kings should have probably taken a different line somewhere, probably raised the turn. But it looks like ace high can still call a little bit because it unblocks a lot of the bluffs that you have. The middling pairs don't do very well as it blocks some of the bluffs you have.
It feels like in live poker you can navigate this easier, where you're betting, you're jamming your 9s and 8s as from Guapo's hand.
I don't know, man. I
Because,
think
like-
you just get torched by too many people who check jacks plus.
But that's the thing, like that you can navigate it. I'm saying because a lot of people do not check pairs here on the flop.
Okay.
Like a majority of live players do not.
I
check.
do agree with you in the sense of
It prints
because
though if
we
you
bet
don't.
half pot on turn, we'll find more ace high here on the river than should appear.
Yeah, and I also think that like because the flop.
But
it's
I also don't think ace high ever calls.
You don't think so?
That's
Not
that's
live.
wrong.
River?
Not live. I think online it does.
You're talking river?
Yeah, when you jam
I
for 2x
agree.
pot, ace high
I
just
You know what? It's
surrenders.
it's funny because the people that check pairs fold on the river, fold ace high on the river.
Yes, agreed.
And then the opposite inverse. So it's kind of like you have to pick your choose.
Yeah, so
Reject me, daddy.
I quickly node locked like ace king if it ever exists for the out of position player to call. Like let's just call it 75% of the time. If someone's like, oh, I checked twice and he could be bluffing, he could have a flush draw here that missed and then it's going all in. And now if they're calling too much ace high on double pair, you start jamming as Guapo 10s plus, where before it was jacks and 10s was too thin. Now 10s becomes a value jam as you're getting called by ace high enough of the time. And then you can start bluffing, like quote unquote, bluffing more with your ace highs to get them off chops. As if you do get called by the ace king, it doesn't hurt you as you chop the pot anyways.
Well, once again, thank you, Landon. I appreciate all the feedback, and I am paying attention, and I am learning something, regardless of what anyone else thinks.
I think
Well, I feel like the idea is a common one where you kind of are like, well, they don't have this card and I do, and then you kind of get tunnel visioned into that instead of like, well, what better is folding?
I fell victim to this when I was
That's very true.
right?
yeah,
Like that's a common thing though.
I fell victim to this like way early in my career when I dabbled with online PLO. I would just fall so in love with like blocking a
Yeah,
nut
because
hand.
you have so many cards that block
Yeah,
stuff.
yes, exactly. It's just like, and then you realize that you're just potting, and it's like, well, I'm just gonna pot, and then people keep calling, and it's like, what the fuck? And then you just start
But
to
I
realize
blocked
at some
that.
point that like pot isn't that much money,
Right.
Yeah, Guapo, I think, I don't have anything prepared, but I think it's time to take a beat here for a second, and I just want to talk. No, you don't actually have to roll it.
Oh.
I don't have anything prepared, but I want to talk to you a little bit here one-on-one. Like,
As your
think-
friend.
But yeah, I think you're a little miffed over, being dragged into the muck, so to speak. But this really is, to Melissa's point, a very, very illuminating in the muck segment because it's such a common pitfall, right? Like a lot of the ones that we discussed with Brian, it's kind of just like, well, the other player you're up against is in the
It's
muck.
like, well, you
as
should get out
much.
of this goddamn pool
Yeah,
because
like-
this pool sucks ass.
Right, like yeah, game selection would just go a long way for you, man. Like I don't even know that you're in the muck so much as the guy you're playing against is in the muck and he
Yeah.
dragged your ass in.
Yeah.
But in this particular instance, it's one of those things where whether you consciously decided or not, you didn't flat for the right reasons you weren't trapping, right? And that's the only reason to flat ace king suited. It's not because you want to avoid a flip. It's not because you fear that you ran into kings or aces. Like, we just live and die with ace king suited for 100 bigs. So when you choose to call there, it's simply based off the fact of you want to be able to protect your calling range to some degree, and you're ultimately trapping, right? So when we land on the turn and the board pair's top pair, and your first instinct is, I have 6x advantage.
Which is what it was, yeah.
Right.
Just blinders.
Yeah, when you get blinded to that thought, what you've also now done is you've bucketed your ace king into I must bluff, right? And now you can just systematically go through a very short protocol of like, okay, if I want to turn a hand this high up in my range, a hand that I was trapping with pre, if I want to turn this into a bluff now on a 6-high paired board, what do I expect to apply pressure to that's worse than my particular holding? And very quickly you'll arrive at the fact that you're lying to yourself if you think pocket pairs start just like giving up, you know?
Yeah.
So ultimately, and this is a real light bulb thing that you know, kind of unlocked for me in 4 and 5 bet pots, because I'm playing so many more of them now that we're deep, is that when it comes a dry board and you have a hand like ace king, it's not that gut wrenching, I want to die because I can't believe I'm in this spot again with ace high type of feeling. It's actually, the SPR is 4 and I can value bet this fucking hand, because ace queen, if it just pure folds, is rocketing money, both pre and post, right? Like, it's just a hand that, yeah, it's a massive blunder to just have a hand that high up that you put a bunch of money in pre-flop with, saw a 7-high board, faced quarter pot, and we're just like, well, I missed. You know, I don't want to float myself dead here. And you just start giving up on the pot. So granted, depth really helps unlock that, because the reason it feels so bad when you're playing 1-2, 2-5, even 5-10 at like 100 big blind cap is because if you find yourself in a 4-bet pot where you're holding ace king high and it comes 7-3 deuce, or in this instance 6-4 deuce, and the SPR is 2 or 1.5, well, you're against a bunch of fucking pocket pairs. And there isn't a whole lot of value to extract out of ace king at this point. But, you know, you got to play all in pots. That's just the nature of the beast. I really think everybody should spend a little bit of time either playing or studying heads up no limit hold'em, because like building that callus to getting stacked is just worth
like
infinite to your
stacks are
career.
supposed to go in.
Yeah.
Well, that was one thing that like I actually learned from Landon when he was like kind of mentoring me in cash, is that we just see 5 a lot.
Yeah.
Like, let's run it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just lose a bunch of those.
Yeah.
But that's like how it's supposed to go. And then sometimes you win a bunch and your graph is kind of fucking nuts.
Exactly.
But then like in the short term it looks nuts. But then when you zoom out, it's actually going up way more than it would if you just played it safe.
Precisely.
When really you're not really playing it safe. You're actually seeing more cards, seeing more variants, more options to push you off when you'd rather just see
And more
5.
importantly, they're seeing more variants too, because they're not just picking up the pot uncontested any longer. Like Jack 10-3, SPR is 1.
Oh, we're in.
All in.
Yeah.
I'm all in with range.
Yeah.
Fuck you, call
Out of
me.
position, jam, ace queen.
Fuck you, call me. Oh, you got me dominated? Okay, run it. You know, like I still have equity on this board.
Let's run it is a powerful
statement. It really is.
Run this fade, homie.
Like that's the thing, and I think so many people play under-rolled for such a long duration of their career. I know that this is a mentality that it took me a long time to get out of. Like even when I was in the big game in Ivy's room for many, many years, with full backing that I was investing my own dollars into. So the way it worked is I put 25% of the money up and they put up the other 75. Even with all of that, I was still under-rolled. You know, I had like 2.5 million to work with, playing 100K buy-in where 100K wasn't 100 big blinds. So really you're playing like 250K buy-ins. So it's like, okay, hey,
like 10%.
Here you go. You have 10 buy-ins to the biggest game in the fucking world. Go nuts. And by the way, don't fucking lose.
Yeah.
You know? And I got lucky that whenever I did hit that 10 buy-in downswing, shocker, I know it happened, there was more money to come, but I had no way of knowing that. You know, that's nothing that backers ever really want to discuss up front, is like, okay, well, if you lose this, we got you kind of thing, because you don't want your horse to be playing too loose. But man, it's so necessary, because you just got to fucking run it in spots, you know?
I think the big takeaway for me on this is going to be that I need to stop solely thinking about what my opponent has and doesn't have, and like getting stuck on like just very minute stuff and thinking about what I'm trying to fold out.
It's the wanting to avoid the volatility that's problematic, right? Like if you say like, oh man, his range is really dense to pocket pairs, so I don't want to jam here. Like, well, why? You know, like
Flipping.
you're flipping.
Flipping is good.
You know, yeah, you have ace king suited. You're making like
It's a lot of equity.
you want to flip coins for 52%? Like, I'd take that deal all day long. A lot of people built fucking houses off of 2%.
People forget that all in is the lowest variance option.
Yeah.
I know it is a really like kind of counterintuitive thing, but
Right.
it is, yeah.
You just see all the cards. You have some fold equity before you get called.
And that's why playing deep is so fucking.
But then
They
then
can't
it
wiggle
changes
away.
pretty quickly when you play deep because you're
Right.
you're not running it on the
Yeah.
Jack 10-3.
They can't wiggle away. They just can't fucking be all in
All right,
anymore,
bro, all
you know?
They can't wiggle away.
I played this hand the other day where I actually, it's funny, I don't remember the hand, but we were looking at flop strategies. Oh, it was a 4 or 5 bet pot where SPR was still like, I think SPR was like, I think it was a 4 bet pot and SPR was like 15 because
Okay.
we were just stupid deep, right? And it comes like 10-9-3. Oh yeah, now I remember the hand. It comes 10-9-3 rainbow and it goes check check. And my opponent had checked back aces. And I said to Landon, sorry, it was 10-9-3 2 diamonds, I think. I said to Landon, I actually think that's like a pretty good check back because when you're this deep, you don't really want to commit 15 pots with one pair. And he's like, no, fuck no. You're top of range, fucking
Run
you
it.
go. I was like, no way, man. Like, because what I knew for sure was like, you don't want to be quarter potting in this spot.
Right.
Like you definitely
on
are
that flop.
yeah, you're definitely just like not betting quarter pot, especially in a pool where like they're just so prone to have like 2 pair plus
You have
when they check
overbets?
raise. It's pure 3E, which is 110% pot.
Okay.
Pure 3E with range.
Wow.
Not one fucking hand checks. It was literally just maroon. 100% bet for 3E. And I was
Love
just
maroon.
like, I was just like, God damn, that's crazy. And then I thought about it. I was like, well, yeah, I'm not check raising anything if I face fucking pot.
Yeah. That's true.
And I don't have 2 pair plus all that often, you know? Because my initial instinct was like, well, if you bet quarter pot, you get fucked with so bad because there are open enders available, there's flush draws available, there's 2 pair plus available, and you don't want to be deciding with one pair what your guy has.
Yeah.
But then we locked for that to see what the response would be. Aces, doesn't give a fuck. Runs it. 3 bets
On
flop.
flop.
3 bet clicks flop. It gets check raised, click it. Don't care. Click it or ticket, show me fucking 10-9.
And then I guess
like,
maybe with like flush
Out of
draws.
position
Yeah.
is just gonna have queen jack enough.
Correct. Yeah,
It's
they
like-
just have queen jack, king queen, king jack. Like they
like
just have these
the
hands.
propensity. Well, that's the fear, I suppose, is like the fear
they
of playing the
don't.
big pot is that that doesn't happen enough, and the sets are extrapolated more. Where if the real person range is only 10s and 9s and 10-9, and then no queen jack, no king queen, no king jack backdoor. It's like,
Yeah.
well, now this hand really sucks, but you just have to then like fold to the raise.
Right.
But now you're just saying, oh, I can't just fold aces here because I don't know for sure.
Flop aggression in 4-bet pots is generally weighted towards more sets.
I mean, it's just
Yes.
But
it all
your
depends
games
on
are
what
different.
game. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
because-
but you're
Because
right.
I've heard his reasoning, and I think I would just get absolutely rinsed. So
I love that. I love that
That's a
phrase.
nice one, yeah.
But no, you're absolutely
Roasting
right.
it,
That was
rinsing it.
precisely what I said to Landon. I go, bro, if you get check raises on this board, it's like only 10-9, 10s, 9s, or 3s.
yeah,
And he locked for that, still runs it. Just doesn't give a fuck.
it's not.
It's like, I hope you have 10-9 and like
Yeah.
we're here now. I put pot in the middle, like
Right.
Godspeed,
Right.
Your
If you
Honor.
bet pot and get check raised, it's just like, well, there's no money left behind. I'm not
They're
folding.
also just supposed to check raise kings,
yeah.
so it's like
Yeah, and that's a big part of it.
It's like once-
Which
yeah.
you know may or may not happen. Doesn't really matter. The whole point was I was just astonished that I'm looking at like, okay, so the solver just wants to play a 300k pod at 100 on a 10-9-3 board with aces.
like yeah.
Got it.
It's like, I mean, you
Fucking got it.
you tried pre-flop to make it so aces could find a way to be all in, and then you
Yeah.
got a board that can help aces be all in,
That's-
Right.
and
I
then you're
guess
like,
that's fair.
nah, just kidding. Like I don't want to do that anymore. That's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Well, now
Yeah.
that the money's in, I don't want to be all in anymore.
Yeah.
Post flop deep stack is a fucking scary
it is scary.
endeavor, man.
Yeah, it is scary. These people in your games are like bluff jamming for like a million big blinds, and I just like want to run out of the room.
I've 3x pot jammed river 5 times in the last 3 sessions.
Like that is.
It's such a weapon.
It's
they get
so
through?
scary because nobody
got called
does
once
that in
and I
low
was
stakes
bluffing.
live. So that's like so snap fold for me.
It is very annoying. I've done it 5 times, and I was bluffing twice and value betting 3 times. I only got called once, and it was when I was fucking bluffing.
I mean,
it was so painful.
it just sounds like you're just, paying up front there.
That's well, yeah.
You're just paying up front.
Yeah,
Goddamn right.
Yeah, fuck that. That's cool. I love that.
No, because the other ones were like 70K river bets where I just had the fucking stone nuts. And it's like, pay me.
Please.
But there was a time where I jammed for 60K on the river, and I did not have it. And I got that one through. So that felt pretty good. Okay. Let's wrap this Valentine's Day special with a little treat, I suppose. We were given random assignments to we have random Valentines, if you will, and we were to create a Valentine for our podcast significant other. We were supposed to guess them, but the whole bit got screwed up. Everybody,
I didn't know I was supposed to make a card.
I mean, you also got your guess fucking wrong.
No, wait, this isn't from you?
No.
Oh, it's from Guapo. Wow, Guapo, you have very, very feminine handwriting.
Bro just gets his gift and goes, "Oh, I know who did this one. Like, I want him a lot of money, so it makes sense it's yours." And I'm just like, "It's not fucking mine, man." Detective Sherlock Holmes is just wrong again.
I mean, to be fair,
no, the amount of times you think I've done something to you, and it's not been me.
I don't want to. Now you're going to get me in trouble, but I forgot Guapo was given a gift. I thought you were the only one left.
Well, I wasn't.
And by the way, I appreciate you switching up the pants. Thank you.
I have to get the other pants back.
Happy
now.
Valentine's. All right, so we were all given Valentines. We can start with the digital ones, which were Melissa and Conrad, I believe.
No, mine's on paper.
Oh, mine's the only digital one, so so it's mine.
Melissa has the digital one. She gave it to
Scruff. A lot of the olds do say that. No, that's Scruff McGruff.
Chicago, Illinois, 60652. Help take a bite out of crime.
Take selfies with the towel on. Please buy longer shorts.
I couldn't find the towel picture. It's like scrubbed from the internet or something.
No way.
Let's go.
Couldn't find it.
It's out there.
We got to make it a sticker in our group chat.
I know.
Never even thought about that.
Those stickers in the group chat.
It's for sure an emoji in the chat here.
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
Get your Landon Tiles up there, everybody. Okay, so Melissa, as usual, demonstrates love and compassion through a complete and utter roasting. Happy Valentine's Day, Landon. I hope you appreciate that. We'll let you go next. You
Landon
can read yours.
Me.
No, you can read yours.
Well, I don't have mine. I just read mine from Melissa. I gave.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
You can say who you had.
I had Melissa.
Okay.
Oh, this should be interesting.
Congrats, freaking
show the camera.
So this is actually really funny because there was a guy on Hinge who I ended up not going to meet up with because he sent me like a message that said best freaking wishes. So this says congratulations.
That guy was way too overexcited.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Lenny.
That was
of Mice and Men.
He Lenny'd me.
Yeah,
but,
he definitely Lenny'd you.
It happens.
I mean,
I Lenny'd a bunch of guys apparently.
you enjoy being swaddled. He would have,
No, I don't. I'm really afraid of being suffocated emotionally.
Okay. But what about physically?
Physically is different.
Okay, go on.
Emotionally,
what is different?
Roses are red, violets are violet. If I don't change the water, you will be violent. Dear Melissa, best freaking wishes on Valentine's Day. Really great job.
That was nice. Good job, Landon.
Good job, Landon. Okay. All right, so who did you have? Oh, wait, you had Landon.
Yeah.
Oh, this didn't work out very well at all.
Shout out to the EP.
I guess Conrad can go next.
All right. Well,
show the camera. Okay, there we go.
Wow, look at that.
Uh-huh.
You're an artist.
A lot of the olds do say that.
Roses are red.
Why did we all do the same one?
Because that's the prop we got. We didn't want to do anything else. Roses are red. Your intro is popping. Next year, I'm going to slap you when the Steelers are mopping. Happy Valentine's. Actually, Steelers are a bet next year if they get Justin Fields.
Man, I don't want them to get Justin Fields.
Wait, isn't he good?
He is, and
he'll probably just work in the system, honestly.
I actually think the opposite. I don't think their system's built for running quarterback at all. I don't think their line is built for it. We don't need to get into Steeler talk, but Trey Essex had a very important tweet that I think is worth mentioning. He said, "Don't be like Browns fans, where you're just trying to shop the league all year long for a franchise quarterback and recycle that process over and over." Like I kind of agree. We've already had one
Mr.
Bear
Biscuit
failure.
dropped the ball, huh?
Exactly. We just caught him. He actually got signed by the Ravens.
Who would have known? My face read was spot on.
Also, a former Bears quarterback. So we took the Bears' last number 1 draft pick in Mr. Biscuit, or number 2 draft pick in Mr. Biscuit. We took him. He was trash. Now,
whoa, you can't call him. Oh, Trubisky's trash.
Trubisky was trash.
Pickett's gone though.
No. Pickett's fine.
But he's trash.
But now they're
Pickettsburg.
Now they're potentially shopping for Fields, who is the Bears' next first-round draft pick.
But
So-
he's
They're
kinda
sniping
good.
the Bears, basically.
The kid can
I
play
mean,
fucking football.
Yeah,
Anyway,
maybe.
So
We'll see.
I have Guapito.
What the hell is that?
Okay.
Is it crumpled up?
My love letter to Guapo.
Why is
Well,
it
why
crumpled?
isn't he reading
Because
it?
he burned it far, far away into his memory.
Oh, okay.
It's crumpled.
Go ahead, Connor. You can read it.
All right. Roses are red, violets are blue. I ain't never seen a taco fold as much as you.
That's good. That's good.
It's pretty good.
Oh man, based Conrad. All right.
Oh boy.
I got lucky because Guapo
Whoa, you got
went
chocolate?
all out, man. I mean, we got
Oh my god! It's
the cupcake chocolate. Oh, it's popcorn.
oh my god!
That shit is
picture
popping.
So funny.
Oh my god, he drew the
This
logo.
is so-
Whoa, is this like marshmallow popcorn?
It
Guap?
is.
Oh my
It's like a
god.
popcorn
There's
ball.
such thing as
I made
marshmallow
it. I made it
popcorn.
myself.
Did you really?
I
Oh
did.
my god!
Wow. How lucky did I get? Man.
Guapo
Now,
gives the best
I gotta be
gifts.
honest. This took a really long time to make.
Okay. So it's a Valentine Day card. Wait, the popcorn or the card?
You'll see.
my God.
Okay. I'm a little scared.
Read it.
Oh my goodness. He went fucking all out. Look at this. This is, I don't know if you guys
That
can
is a
see.
lot
there
of
you go, there you go,
words.
there you go, there you go. Lot of
Wait,
words.
You wrote a whole actual.
I mean, he
iambic-
ChatGPT'd it for
iambic
sure.
pentameter.
Okay. I can't believe I'm doing this. Okay. In realms of words, both grand and rare, in plunges cold, we find our share. In poker's game and pickle's ball, in moments sweet, you've won it all. From Mexico's embrace, our tale did start. I'm so glad I went last. A chance encounter, a tender heart. You, the smuggler of my dreams and hope. Me, the dreamer on life's tightrope. I really hope you wrote this. This is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Your bald head gleams, a beacon bright. In its reflection, I find my light. Your bowel movements so sturdy and never small. I grab my phone to picture it all. Through line and demarcation we stride. In whispers shared, our worlds collide.
Oh my god!
With imposter syndrome we may wrestle, but in your gaze I find my vessel.
Jesus!
This is getting horny.
Oh my god!
That was horny texting on me.
For you, dear Matt, my heart goes pine. In your thick Yinzer arms, destiny aligns. With tortillas as currency, our bond ever grows. In your presence, my love only
It's like
shows.
so romantic.
So here's to us in our journey divine. In every moment, your hand in mine. One day, my love, you'll surely see that forever together we were meant to be.
Bro is posting fanfic on the internet.
Guapo, that was fucking incredible.
Good one.
Oh, man.
God.
All right. I can't fucking lie.
To my crush Matt.
He got it from ChatGPT.
Yeah, but look at this prompt.
You should have asked it to do iambic pentameter.
That actually was a ChatGPT.
Also include how much I love his
way.
bald head and his bowel movement.
That's actually incredible that, like, I get that the prompt is very specific, but, like, that's a remarkable output, all things considered. Like,
Yeah,
it was-
did a good job.
yeah, I mean, that was fucking good.
Yeah, tortillas for chat GPT.
I used ChatGPT for Conrad's, and it was useless. So then I just used what Nikki sent me.
Yeah. No, I didn't use what Nikki sent me. I wrote that one.
Shout out to Nikki. Appreciate you. I was actually going to put a lot of time and effort into it. And then I got a seat at 10 a.m. this morning, and I was just kind of like, wow.
Well, you drew. That
I
was
did.
a lot.
I show that Steeler symbol again. That was pretty fucking. Actually, show the Conrad.
I'll just show the Conrad.
It's very artistic.
It's very Conrad meets Happy
that should
Trees
be like
guy.
your logo.
I agree.
Well,
yes.
it's funny because fucking Poker.org made something exactly like this.
Yeah.
Like
That's
it's
really
literally
close.
looks like exactly what Poker.org made for me.
Yeah.
His handwriting looks like someone that writes left-handed.
I think that we should get that logo on a T-shirt with "Let's Get It Poppin'."
Wow.
I think that's it,
Mainstream.
man.
Could be a thing.
I think that's a thing.
Sells out immediately.
Let us know, Chad. Do you want that T-shirt? We'll get it made.
Get
I
it poppin'
promise.
then.
We'll get it done. All right, we got a lot of plans to get to tonight. Everybody here is fucking for sure. So big shout out to everybody who rode with us through this Valentine's Day episode. I hope you guys aren't dining alone, but if you are, I hope this brought you a little bit of company. We'll be back tomorrow with Strat Chat with Matt. I believe we're going to be back to the noontime slot. As of now, I haven't gotten a text for a game tomorrow. So look for us at noon Pacific. But as always, pay attention to our socials. You can check us out at onlyfriends_pod. We'll always update the time of the show there. Also, just a quick reminder, if you guys are interested in dealing this summer or you have any intentions of trying out for the WSOP dealers, be sure to check out the Dealer Academy that we're running this March. I have nothing to do with it. We're just lending the space, but I do promise you that the people involved are the best in the business. You can find that link in the pinned comment or in the description below, or you can just head to academy.solveforwhy.io and find all the information there. Thanks as always. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy Valentine's Day.
Later, squad.